with a
Hey
special
man,
guest.
yeah, we back with a special guest on this beautiful Saturday. It's about 1 o'clock over here on the East Coast. On the West Coast, what is it like 10?
10
Yeah,
a.m.,
10.
brother.
What was it 10 a.m. over on the West Coast, man? Today we are brought. Like we have the services and the aura, you know what I mean, and the just the greatness and the goodness, you know what I'm saying. Well, we
I
got some
appreciate it.
NBA talent, man. I'm talking about one of Atlanta's own who played here in the city of Atlanta, but also played in some other cities. And by his own words, I mean his teammate list is crazy. So he's played for some franchises with some really special players, and he has made his mark on every single stop that he has been at. So man, I all y'all out there watching, if you can take the time, and all y'all out there listening, let's give it up for none other than Kent Bazemore. Y'all give it up for Bazemore.
Man.
Yes.
That's a heck of an intro, brother. I appreciate it.
Man, it's
Yes,
all
sir.
good, man. We got to do you some justice, Baze. We got to
Yes,
do you
sir.
some justice, man. What you like going by better, man? Kent, Bazemore. What you like going by?
Bays is cool when it comes to the game. My college coach actually started calling me that because Bazemore was too long to say. I was
Okay.
screwing up a lot, turning over. So instead of being like Bazemore, he's just like Bays. Come on, Bays. So it
Yeah.
kind of stuck, man. It got a little flash to it, a little flair to it. I like it. Smooth.
Man, that's what's up, man. Well, we appreciate you joining us on
Yes,
this
sir.
Saturday. So man, let's just get right to it, man. It's 2025. Man, please tell us what's going on with Bays in 2025.
Oh man, adulting, brother. I left home. I tell the story a lot. I've been playing travel ball since the age of 12. I'll be 36 this year. I left home at 17 to go to college and to chase the game. And back in 2022, I came out to SAC to try out for the Kings, and I got waived. And that was the first time that I've been able to sit still. So, in that space, I just been healing, brother. Like it's the league is, college ball, 5 years of college ball, 10 years pro, and then I dabbled with a couple of G League teams over the last 2 seasons. But it's like a vacuum. It kind of pulls you through. It's not something you can, lollygag and, really stop and smell the roses a lot. So, yeah, just burnt out there at the end, dude. I was running on E. So this break away from the game has been amazing. Reconnecting with the things that truly matter in life, and just proud to be breathing, honestly, dude. A lot of people go through things and they don't really, make it through or, see it through. But, by God's grace and keeping the faith, brother, I'm 10 toes and moving in the right direction.
Man, that's always good to hear. Like you say, by God's grace bringing you through, and that
Yes,
now
sir.
you have a time to, like you say, focus on some other things that you may want to do. Focus on your loved ones. Focus on yourself. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Focus
Exactly.
on, okay, what is Bays in the scope of the world? What is Bays in? And you brought up God. What's Bays in the scope of God? Bays in the scope of the world, and what's Bays without being on the court? Because
Exactly.
before you even picked up a basketball, you were who you already are now.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
without you being on the NBA court, you still who you are now. So just
Yes,
reconnecting
sir.
with that, I can understand that completely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's we don't really realize how much our identity, and not necessarily our identity, but the decisions we make, the people we have in our lives, all those things are predicated around the game. So when that's all pulled away, a lot of that stuff goes with it, and then you kind of, sitting back, kind of raw, sitting with yourself again. I've had to, sit in the dark spaces, the quiet house, and hearing the house settle, and with all that stuff, man, really confront what it is I was feeling, and holding myself accountable is probably the best thing that I could have done in that space versus lash out and point fingers. That's why I kind of been out of the way, just truly working on myself and getting back to the truest essence of me.
Man, that
Deep
sounds
stuff,
Man,
bro. Deep, yeah, it's deep.
nah,
Deep.
nah, nah. I love that. I love that
Yes, sir.
100%.
all right. Well, I want to start it off, man. You started off at Golden State Warriors, man. You got
Yep.
there, and you may start making a name for yourself. And I just want to hear about some of the stories, man. Playing with a great organization like that, seeing playing with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Clay Thompson, and all that, man. I love to hear some of the stories and how you felt, coming in, seeing these guys, and how did you feel? Did you feel you belong? What was the moment that you felt like, okay, I belong and I'm gonna make a name for myself and I belong in the NBA?
Oh man, I mean, I want to say it even started, a little bit before that. Coming out of college, um, I broke my foot going into my senior year, and that, my name kind of fell off the draft board. So just pushing through that, made it to the PIT Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. I played terrible. Somehow my agent at the time, I was National Defensive Player of the Year my junior season, and he got me in a couple NBA workouts, and I was able to guard these guys. You see these guys playing on TV with these big schools. You really don't really get a chance to size them up. We had 2 tournament appearances in college, but once I got into the environment with them and felt comfortable and getting the support of certain franchises that you go work out for, some teams are like, all right, we really like this kid, and you can feel that. So Golden State was that stop. Pete Myers, I never forget. My second time working out, it was almost the last kind of stretch of preseason workouts, and he's like, if you can lock this kid up, I'll get you a spot on the summer league team. I said, where he at? And from that, I just kind of took off. And Klay Thompson, I can't thank him enough because his second year in the league, I think it was going to his second year, he crushed Vegas Summer League. He had 50 points in the first 2 games combined, so they shut him down. And then I was able to start at the 2. And, had he not played that well and had he continued to play, I don't think I would have got the chance to truly be seen. And we went 5-0, which is, what they look for. Can this guy be on a part of a winning team? And from there, it was just, once I got my foot in the door, once I put that logo on, I won't looking back.
Yeah.
Like I love the fact that you brought up what the record was in Summer League, because a lot of us as fans, we watch Summer League, and some people may think the wins don't really matter. I see that a lot in the argument. It doesn't matter if we won that, but from a deeper standpoint, for the guys who trying to make the roster, that plays a part in the decision making by the team.
Yes, sir. And then the next year we went back, we lost a bunch of players. Myself and Draymond, Harrison Barnes didn't play with us. And we went 7-0. We won the first Summer League championship. I'm super proud of that. Being an undrafted guy, that's like that's it for undrafted guys. That's like a big distinguishment. You're trying to solidify yourself as not only an NBA player but a winner. I love to win. That championship mentality is something that I've carried my entire life. So anytime you can play the game and bring on hardware, that's what you do it for.
Yeah, man. Just watching your career and watching how you blossom with the Hawks, and I don't want to go there yet. You are the epitome of someone that got out the mud. You earned your contract. I remember when you got your big contract, and I'm like, wow, man, he really earned that through playing tough defense. I just remember you being a great defensive player, and then I saw you coming to your own. You start hitting your threes, and then you start dunking on people, bro. I was like, whoa, he had one of the nastiest dunks, man. But yeah. So from Golden State, you went to the Lakers. I don't know. I didn't look at the roster. Did you get a chance to play with Kobe?
So, yeah, that year was kind of wild. Kobe was out that year. He fractured his kneecap in Memphis, so they shut the season down. And I never forget, I was actually in Sacramento. We getting ready to go out and play chapel. Everybody go to chapel with 60 on the clock. It's like a little devotional. They got pastor come in and tell us the word. And I'm about to go out, get ready. And the coach and the GM, Mark Jackson and Bob Myers, are standing outside, and I see them, and they're like, "Yeah, come on over." And as a young guy, it's just like, I mean, those are the 2 people you don't really want to see. It's good to see them, but you don't want to see them together. And they're like, "Look, we're gonna trade you down," because they were trying to make a playoff run. We're gonna trade you down to LA. You're gonna get to play a lot. We just need a veteran presence, at the backup point guard. And Golden State, give them credit. They tried to play me at point guard my second year in the league. But I just didn't have the handle and the understanding of the game to handle that. I mean, I remember we played the Pistons, bro, and Will Bynum picked me up full court. It was the most miserable thing ever. And, I didn't understand at the time that, if somebody pressuring you, go by them. I'm trying to run a play. I'm trying to call a play, look, see the guys working the lead. And, he's like 5'8". I'm 6'5", 6'6", and he's just underneath me. So I struggled. And, they traded me down to L.A., and I was able to play with Kendall Marshall, who, I loved playing with because he's setting guys up. He's pitching to the head. Played Wesley Johnson, Robert Sacre, Nick Young, Jody Meeks, um, Jordan Hill. I think he's an Atlanta guy too. I think he's from the A. So yeah, that was a cool start for me, and that's kind of where I just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, I see. You started. You started 15 games. You was getting. Well, Golden State, you was at 6 minutes per game. Then you went from 6 to 28 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you started getting 13 points a game in the 23 games played at the Lakers. Like that was some good experience right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then it's funny because I tore a tendon in my ankle going into that second summer, because this is, you go from 6 minutes to, that spike in the athletic ability. And I didn't really understand what taking care of my body was back then. I was eating Denny's and Wendy's and all that stuff. I wasn't really in the weight room like that, so
he was on that Chad Johnson diet.
Bro, yeah.
He was on that Ocho Cinco diet.
Exactly. You young, we vibrant. Like I can wake up in 360 and 2 feet, one leg. It didn't matter. But that really kind of centered me a little bit heading into my time in Atlanta, because I wasn't able to be on the court and I had a shooting coach. I mean, we can get to the A, but I shot with 3 fingers for like 2 weeks straight. We did this 3-finger shooting drill. For 2 weeks straight, just to in order for me to take that leap, I had to become a more efficient shooter, have a more compact release, something that's repeatable. And I think me having that injury and having to ease into things there really set the foundation for my stint in the A.
So let's talk about this. Like, were you a gym rat? Were you the kind of? Obviously, I think you were, because I thought each year, things would get better with you. Your handles, your playmaking ability, making a three. Like, defense was always there. But tell us about like how much time that you put in the gym, man.
Shoot, man. I mean, I just go back to my junior year college. We had 4 starters that left going into my senior season. So that summer, it was weights. I was in the gym, getting up shots, class, back to the gym, class. Then we play ball at night. And then I was doing conditioning around the the arena we played in, so I was getting it in. And I obviously that ultimately led me to breaking my foot, just going ham. So I've had those, what they deem, the Mamba mentality, where you just lock in and shoot till your arms fall off and, just get it in. But for me, I didn't really take a leap until I started to understand what I was watching, what I was seeing, how I would watch myself and watch other players, and then, learn from other players. Like my leap didn't change until I started to see the game from a different perspective, because, putting in the work is one thing, but learning how to implement it within the system of, your teammates around you is a totally different beast. And it was still, being a gym rat, it was still starting, simple spot shots, coming off DHOs or coming off pin downs, pick and roll stuff. It wasn't, today it's 5, 6, 7 dribbles to I don't really need all that to score anyways. But, I just had a totally different mindset. I wanted to play within the team's offense, because that makes you even more dangerous when you got 4 of the guys that where they're going to be. And that just makes you, like I said, way more dangerous.
Gotcha.
So tell us about that transition, transitioning from, the Lakers to ending up over in Atlanta. What was that transition like, and how was it when you came to Atlanta doing a very successful year? Your first year in Atlanta was a very successful year for Atlanta. Tell us about
60 wins, brother. 60 wins. It was incredible. I mean, I wanted to stay in LA to get a year with Kobe, like just to see what that was like, just to practice with that every day. And but they were trying to get Melo. I had like a $1.1 million qualifying offer that they didn't pick up because they were trying to get Carmelo Anthony that summer. But in doing so, I went to a team that was interested in me, and one thing I learned early on is about, going where, they're going to appreciate your presence. And I came in as like the 12th man. We had a very deep team, top to bottom, Jeff, Dennis, Shelvin Mack, John Jenkins was on that team. Kyle Korver, Damari Carroll, Al Horford, Perro, Antich, Elton Brand, EB. So very, very like just grounded group. And Al Horford, can't forget Big Al. But I came in and, just bought the energy. I never forget, we played my rookie year, we played there in the A, and I had this crazy fast break block on Damari.
Okay.
Damari's going, slapped it in the stands. And Cal, that's the first story. That's the first story Cal Korver told me. He was like, "Who is this kid sprinting down the court?" But when I got there, I saw, Coach Bud. He had such great structure offensively and defensively too. I'm playing with Paul Millsap and Al Horford and Thabo Cephalosha. I learned so much from watching Thabo because when I came into the league, he was one of the guys that I was watching anyway. Just lockdown defender, guarded everybody, knocked down the three when he needed to. So it was a big learning experience for me to understand what structure was on a high level, how guys are so unselfish, having 4 All-Stars, those guys being so unselfish though. They didn't, it wasn't like they were, I got to go out and get mine. They uplifted the team as a whole. So that was big for my growth as a young player to see that.
I got a chance. I'm sorry. I got a chance to meet Kobe Bryant. I'm Hustle Gang and they played in Atlanta. He came to see Tip at the studio, and I had a chance. We was in the booth, man. It was like it was me, Doug, KT, and Kobe, and we got a chance to ask him about some players. And he said, "Hey, man, Joe Johnson, that dude, like he won, no joke." And he just really gave Joe Johnson some ups, and he said he don't get the credit that he deserves. Like, you got a chance to Joe Johnson. Like, is Kobe telling the truth?
Yeah, I played against Joe. I miss Joe when his time in the A. But
they didn't play together in Atlanta.
I miss Joe. Yeah, I miss Joe by maybe 2 years.
So when we played Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals, Joe Johnson
wasn't on that team.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That starting lineup, base. Wasn't that T, Korver, Carroll, Millsap, and Horford?
Horford.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Wow! I thought Joe Johnson was on that team. That's crazy.
Nah. Joe was gone. But I mean, that don't take away the fact that dude's an animal. Like,
yeah.
I mean, 6'8", 240 straight.
Okay.
Brick house, bro. Like, handle, use his body, play with his own pace, good touch. I always liked his like little push shots. Being 6'8" and that big, like, and had that little touch put, you can't. It's hard to guard.
Okay, well, how was it doing that year going to the Eastern Conference Finals? Like, I went to one of those playoff games, and I really thought, man, like we had a chance, man.
We did. I still think we're the better team. Yeah, I mean, you know what I know, bro. We playing against LeBron James, bro. Like, I mean, he was an animal that time of the year. I mean, I also think, that year Thabo had his leg broken in New York, and that kind of hurt us a little bit. And then I think Korver goes down, and then Al got ejected in Game 3.
What's old boy name with the Cavs? That because I think everybody felt like Dellavedova kind of felt like Dellavedova was playing a little over the edge, right?
He was. He was. I mean, and we really get. I mean, obviously I ain't making no excuses at all, but they want 4-0. They want sweeping us better than us. You know what I mean? Because we handled them all regular season, and
really?
People are like, oh yeah, bro, we smacked them. We smacked Cleveland. They knew what time it was, but we lost. When we lost Thabo, that's a veteran wing who played in so many playoff series. I think he did a really good job on just having an extra body to throw at Bron. Take some pressure off Damari. I think Damari sprained his knee in that series too. We kind of limped to the finish line, but to be the last 4 teams in the league playing, bro, it was an amazing experience. I still think we the better team. They were talented as I don't know what. I mean, Kyrie, J.R. Smith, K. Love, Bron, Tristan Thompson. They had big dude. He played in Denver for a little bit. Not Kuzmas.
I know
Timothy Mozgov, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, bro, they were a good team, and you get that close, that's why I tell guys all the time, like when you get that close, bro, you got bottled up because I ain't been back since. This
Yeah.
year playing for the Capital City Go-Go is my first time back in the playoffs since 2018.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's few and far between, bro. So when you in them moments, like right now, I watch a little bit of the playoffs, but it's an amazing time of the year.
I know you touched on just the team and what you guys, kind of meant to each other. But tell us a little more on like what do you think made that 2014, 2015 team that had 60 wins? What do you think made you guys so successful?
Just the selflessness from the guys up top. We had this thing. Al Horford, he started calling it one more. We started making that extra pass, good to great. I can shoot this wing three, but I got this dude butt naked. And if you make it or miss it, it don't matter. I made the right play. And that's going to set the precedent for the rest of the group. You can watch it now where you see guys just like trying to get theirs. Like you see a guy that's more than capable of making that pass to his wide open teammate, but he much rather shoot a, right foot, right hand floater over, a contested shot, and that's what's killing the game because that takes the energy and the synergy out of the ball. If the ball's moving, I think we were second in the league in assists, second in the league in assists behind the Warriors that year. And the ball's moving, bro. So you don't know. I was having good nights, off the bench, playing with four all-stars, because ain't nobody worried about me. But if I'm in the confines of the offense and I'm in the right spot at the right time, catch a shoot corner three, get a DHO from Paul Millsap, hit him in the pocket. He's good enough to get around the big to throw that baseline pass to the corner, and we get a good look on a three. That's how our offense was ran, and everybody touched the ball, on multiple possessions. More than we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passes in one possession, and that's what's going to lead to us going 19-0 in January. That
Wow.
was insane, bro. It was insane. It was crazy. We got smacked by Milwaukee or something to end it, but just amazing times. And I talk about that year a lot. Even that's the year. That's why I still appreciate what Al Horford's doing in with the Celtics because
Wow.
I
Yeah.
know he has a large effect on what's happening there.
Wow. One thing that I contribute to the Hawks' success during that time, and I want you to talk about it, after he left. I looked at Danny Ferry. I thought Danny Ferry was
Mm,
an excellent GM for the Atlanta. I think with him and Bud, the Hawks were moving in the right direction with the players they were selecting and just the chemistry, everything was going. But then when all that ownership stuff happened and the derogatory comments
yeah.
about Luol Deng and all of that, and then, it was forced him out. How did that affect the Hawks, man? Like I really think that affected that just the direction we was going in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get too. I always stayed out of that stuff. I mean, even now, I never get into all that. But I mean, I just think that's just the energy that was put around the organization. I think for a long time we had, Danny Ferry came in and from my understanding cleared out like a lot of the chaos. He brought in high character guys that wanted to win. I learned so much from Damari and Paul Millsap, just grounded dudes. Like Paul played at Louisiana Tech. Millsap played in Missouri. Al Horford's a 2-time NCAA national champion. Jeff Teague, good man, his own Kyle Korver. And then you bring, Dennis Schroeder. Like it was such a grounded group. Shelvin Mack, Butler, well coached guys too. So I think his vision was to just get character around a professional game. Guys who are going to give themselves up and work hard every day. Uplift their teammate, and the vibe amongst that group. If I ain't have it going, I'm rooting for the man that does. Now it's like I need him to miss shots so I can play. It's your own teammate with the rifle in your back, right?
Crazy,
But
man.
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, you can see I can see the game from so many different angles. because of my being starting from the mud and reaching the mountaintop. So I seen everything in between. But yeah, that group was special, and it's definitely one of my top 3 favorite teams of all time. My whole existence of basketball, for sure.
Got you. All right, going into, man, 2015, 16, we start seeing you, man, start hitting some of your career highs, man, and just like 25 points, win over the Wizards. Then you new career high 28 points against the Heat. Then you you hit 30, 32 against the Pacers. It's just, you just started just being consistent. Then you got a chance to exercise a $19 million option, man. Like,
Yeah.
how did that feel, man? Like, what made you just come? All right, I'm clicking now. I'm about to hit me 30 this night, 30 that night, and just like I just thought you was like the energy to the Hawks, man. You was the guy that just everybody. You was the one we wanted to see. You was dunking on people. You was becoming that guy. You was hitting your threes, and I just remember, damn, Kent, like he's the star of this team now. Like, how did you do that, man?
It's stability, bro. It's stability. If you can spend 5 seasons on any team, and have the ability to earn your keep, that's a recipe for success. I bought a house in 2016. I got married, had the Arms Foundation. I was in the community a lot. I was really coming into my own. Like, I had a trainer. I knew what a grocery store was. I knew what my golf course was. It was just having, stability, and you can just go to the game, with a free mind. I think my last couple of years were kind of wonky because I played on 5 teams in 4 seasons.
Wow.
When I left the A, I got traded to Portland in August, and then I got traded from Portland to SAC in January, right after that. So, like, I got a young family too. So, I mean, it's a lot on you, and new offense, new teammates, new coaches. They want you to be, you need to fit in. Like, so it's an identity crisis of sorts. But that goes back to my point. Like, when I was in the A, just coming in on that 60-win team, absorbing what it takes to win on a high level, and then just gradually learning and working your way up to that leadership role. That's just a natural progression of, somebody that's hungry and that's been putting in the work. I think that'll happen for a lot of guys if they can, stay. You look at Kobe, you look at Dirk, you look at Steph. All those guys have just been in one spot, bro. Ain't nothing better. Tim Duncan, all the greats, like, they were great largely because that they were able to stay in one space for so long.
Yeah, be able to get that stability, man. It's something that a lot of us as Hawks fans would love to see.
Exactly,
Trae Young be to like experience and stay here for a long period of time.
I hope so too, man. I mean, because you gotta understand, like, they always say the grass ain't greener. You know what I mean? Like, we a lot of the things we leave and try to chase it's wherever we go, it's inside of us. So if whatever we change, whatever environment we try to change, if it don't change within, you're gonna run back into those same problems. So, even with me, leaving, looking back, definitely should have stayed, but looking forward, that inability to get comfortable and still learn about myself, it all works out at the end of the day. But if you have a choice as a superstar like Trae Young, like, bro, sit still and go through it, because you're gonna learn so much more from weathering that storm than you will trying to find, happiness somewhere else.
Well, speaking of Trae Young, me and Trey Boy, we got a chance to come to a game, and you guys were playing the Mavericks his first year, and it was a home. And I just remember this. I remember you was like taking a break, and I took a picture of you on the because he was right behind you. Like, we had 4 seats, and he was right. I took a picture, and you spoke to me and dapped me up, and it was a guy, man, Stoudemire, man. Like, why? I thought he was gonna be good, and I just remember that picture. That's vision. Why didn't he make it? Like, what was up with him? Did he eat himself out the league? He seemed like he had an attitude problem. Did him and Trey get into it? What was up with him, man? Because I
Got
already
him right. Let me remember this
What
player.
guy? You
It's a
talking about
player.
Spellman? You talking about Amari
Oh,
Spellman?
Yeah,
Amari.
Amari
Oh
Spellman.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
What was up with him? Because like I thought he was gonna be something special, but he seemed like he had an attitude problem, man.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: the NBA it's gonna expose you. You know, we playing in front of 20,000 people. You know, our life is all over the internet. Like, you want to talk about feeling naked and afraid, bruh? Like, this light, you know, what these guys are having to deal with, even now on this level, is it's insane. You know, you don't really. I mean, I'm grateful for my life. You know, I'm not the one out there taking pictures, and you know, I can't go anywhere without getting. You know, I don't have that, thank God. But you know, it'll expose you, and you know, that was a tough year because we were rebuilding anyways. I think we ended up being like 6-28 at one point. So had he come into a situation, you know, for being on a winning team and understanding what that means and seeing how, you know, when guys are winning, you know, or even if, you know, you aren't having a great season, if you're having a good season, guys are coming there showing up every day, putting their best foot forward. But, you know, the collective energy at that time was in kind of disarray. You know, there was a lot going on. You know, that was my last year in the A. But it was just a lot going on. And for a young guy like that, it's not going to set them up for success at all.
Okay.
Like speaking of like just the rebuild, like we know in 2018 that the Hawks went through a rebuild. We already know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it was your last year. But what is it? What was it like? And what is it like? You know, for a player like yourself who's been in the league, you worked your way up, and now you have an understanding from the organization that we're not gonna win this year. We're not even really trying to win. We're about getting these young guys on board. And what is that like? Or if you guys even had those kind of conversations?
I'm gonna be honest. I ain't really accept that. I didn't. You know, I got 12 technicals that year from 12 different referees, and like I said, you know, speaking with Amari Spellman, like, you know, we were all just kind of lashing out, and I think as long as you're suiting up and you got 12 guys healthy, you have a chance. I don't really believe in tanking, or it's just setting the wrong precedent, setting the wrong mentality. Like, how do I, as a pro basketball player, you know, everything that it took for me to get here, how do I accept just like understanding we ain't winning? We ain't trying to win. I can't. I'm not wired that way. Had I been wired that way, I don't think I would have been able to have a career that I had. Like, it's a mentality. Like, you still put your best foot forward regardless of what you have. I don't care who's on my team. If there are 4 of the guys on the floor with me, I feel like we have a chance. And you know, I had a buddy of mine. He's coaching now. He's like, man, how do I get these guys to play harder? And I go back to these stories about when I first started playing AAU. Or we would go to a tournament, we play 5 games, we lose by 30, 40 every game, getting smacked. You know, teams laughing and giggling. And they were beating us on like backdoor cuts, shot fakes, and, you know, jabs. Like, we didn't really understand what any of that was. But I say that to say we ain't stopped playing. You know, we kept going at them. And that's the mentality that I have. Regardless of what the score is, I'm going to keep playing hard. Like, when you have that losing mentality, you know, you get down 15 in the first quarter, everybody just like, all right, here we go, Will. We try and get that number 1 pick. I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Man, so like I want to share something with you from a fan's perspective, and I'm not saying this to start anything, but I'm just gonna be honest with you from what I saw from a fan's perspective. I saw Trey Young, to me, seemed like he had to earn specifically you, who I'm thinking about, not Torian Prince, you, Torian Prince, and Bembry. You, Torian Prince, and Bembry. It seemed like over the year, I saw him kind of like earn you guys respect. In the beginning, just from a fan perspective, it didn't seem like, you know what I'm saying, that he would get the ball back as fast as he did like toward the end of the year when he started coming to his own.
Right.
Say, I could see the look on your face, on Bembry's face, on Torian Prince's face. I saw it change from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Like I said, not trying to start never, that's from a fan perspective. You share with me if I saw something that was correct.
No, I mean, that's fair. That's fair because, you know, as a young guy, like, you need resistance, you know, and that was my whole thing. Like, we can't just give him the keys because that ain't gonna teach him nothing. You know, like when I came into the league, it was Jermaine O'Neal, Andrew Bogut, Richard Jefferson, Jared Jack, Carl Landry, Andres Biedrins. Like we had 7, 8 vets in the locker room, and they were regulating just off presence alone. And I think that's what truly allowed Steph to take off the way that he did because he was grounded early on. You know, it changed all of a sudden with these young kids where they just like, all right, here's a franchise as a 19, 20-year-old. They don't know what comes with that. They just think they get to shoot every shot. Nah, man, like you gotta lead. Like how you show up is how the team's gonna show up, how the front office is gonna show up, how the ownership is gonna show up as the best player. That's how much power that they're giving you. And we were just trying to like hold him accountable. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he had, you know, solid college career, but he ain't win nothing. We would tell him, bro, you ain't what you do, you know? So it was more so coming from a big brother space of, you know, learn and try to get on board with us, you know, with everybody else. You know, that's all that was. And even now, like I'm super proud of Trey, you know, because I understand what he went through, and now he has kids, and now he's dealing with all this too, and it ain't easy. It's not easy, you know, having that responsibility. So I'm proud that he's able to still show up and to still give his team a chance. You know, they saying like, oh, he ain't had the help the rest of these guys had, but it's coming. You know, it's coming, bro. You got to pay your dues, and that's all this is for him. And I hope he understands that you're paying your dues, and you're gonna get it back tenfold. You just hang in there.
The dope part is like that we saw like I saw him gain you guys respect, and I saw y'all get at him, and I could tell that y'all were genuinely happy to be playing with him. Like by the time we got near that last month, I could see it in your face. I could see it in Bembry's face, and I could see it in Prince's face.
Boy had a 51-point triple-double. That was crazy. You know what I mean? Like special. But you know, it takes a certain type of honing, you know, for him. And you know, we were just trying to give him a little bit of humility first. Because we know he gonna be great. He gonna crush a lot of Atlanta records. He stick around. You know what I mean? We know all that, but like there's a process to him being the person that organization needs him to be. Because he can bring a lot there. I feel like as the passer he is, as the talent he is, there's a lot of guys that will want to play with him. You just got to clear out all that distraction and confusion around all of it. That's it.
So let me ask you this: a couple weeks ago, we fired Landry Fields, and you know we didn't understand that because at first we didn't like him, but then you know he was the good luck charm and got us the #1 pick. You know I blame him for that. Then he ended up getting Zachary Ricochet, which you know me and Trey think he got it right, and then he salvaged the DeJounte Murray trade and ended up getting Dyson Daniels. Why would they get rid of him after making those moves?
I mean, I don't know. It's a lot going on around the league. You know, I poke my head in every now and again to see, you know, I watch a little Sports Center to catch up on. But, you know, like I said, it goes back to internally. You know, everyone's trying to make these moves to seem like they're busy. But, I mean, they're all just really treading water. You know, it's all about appreciating what you have. It's the most talented league in the world. And you just got to pour into what you have. Like if you go play ball at the park and there's 20 strangers out there, they pick teams. Like you just got to roll with who you got. You can't be trying to, oh yeah, I wish I had that guy, or I need this guy, or I need that guy. Like every team has length. Every team has athleticism. You know, they got 6'8" guys that can shoot. You got 7-footer that can handle. You got a point guard. Like you got everything you need. Like I just don't, there's this like false sense of perfection in a league that, you know, the game ain't built on perfection. You know, it's built on effort, and it's built on perseverance and resilience. It's built on going through an 82-game season and understanding that, you know, we building habits for the playoffs. Remove the result, regardless of where we are as a result, are we doing the right things on a daily basis that lead to ultimately winning? And that may take 1 year, it may take 5 years, it may take 7 years. But if you stay diligent on that trajectory, you're gonna reach to where you want to go. That's just how it goes. That's life.
Facts.
It's life.
Facts.
It's life, bro.
Facts, man. Facts. You can learn so much from the game, but the game also imitates life in certain
It
ways. There's
does.
certain principles in life that just as men. It's a game played by men and women, but us as adults, period, it's just certain things that's the standard on getting from one level to the next. And whether it's
100%.
sports or whether it's on your everyday job outside of sports, you have to deal with it that way. But look, I want to bring up a certain play. I want to know if you remember this. I can't remember if it was against the Knicks, but I think it was against the Sixers. And it was something you tweeted about. It's something you tweeted about. I want to see if you remember
James
tweeting about
Harden
this.
jump.
It was Trey and John Collins. They in a playoff game. Trey threw it out the backboard. Trey threw it out the backboard. John Collins dunks it, and they put on TNT your tweet say, "I can't believe these boys used to do that in practice every game, and they do it in a playoff game." Man, tell us about that, like how you saw it and what you were thinking when that play happened.
Man, I remember the first time he did it in practice. Like he just throw it. You know, John Collins is a freak athlete. I mean,
Yes.
if it ain't come down to money, he'd still be in the A. Like he would have been, them two would have been pillars for a long time. But just to see them do that, like I mean, you know, the younger generation is a lot more. I don't want to call it reckless, but they reckless. You know what I mean? You in a playoff game and you out here doing this stuff. But you know, I'm proud of both of them. You know, even John being up in Utah, like you know, there are some guys I still follow, especially my young pups, man. But just to see that on that level was mind blowing. I sat back like, bro, what? Like in the playoff game is crazy.
I can't remember what was it against the Sixers. I can't remember if it was against the Sixers or the Knicks, but it was in that 2021 run. I can't remember if it was the Sixers or the Knicks. I want to say it was the Sixers.
I want to say it was the Sixers too, because they played Milwaukee and
they played Milwaukee in the conference final. So I think it was the round right before that.
Yep, that's
I remember
crazy.
they put your tweet up immediately, and it was like, all these laugh emojis, and you were like, these boys used to do that all the time in practice, and I can't believe they do it in a playoff game.
That was an insane connection them two had. Like, I mean, Trey just his ability to just put the ball where it needs to be in the air on the fly, just and John Collins he jumping out the freaking gym, incredible. Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. Go ahead, B-Rich.
No, I'm happy to be doing this, man, and I'm glad you're giving us the insights. You didn't get a chance to tell us what Steph Curry was like, man. Tell us a story about him.
Shoot, man. Steph is a generational talent. That's what they like today. But I think more so for him, just his work ethic too. Like, we mirrored that. Like I remember I'm playing 4 minutes a night as a rookie. He's probably playing 32 to 35 minutes a night. And after practice, I'm on one end of the floor, he's on the other, and we just working out and getting my post-practice work in. You know, I'm down there 45 minutes, hour, and I'm finished, and he's still going. And like low key, it was probably like some competition. I'm gonna lead the floor after he lead the floor. But I just his work ethic and how he's bought into his practice. You know, his workouts are crazy. Like if you ain't doing them and you go train with him, you're gonna feel it. You know, but it's coming from a genuine place. Like he really gets lost in that process. Like he ain't nowhere else in the world but on that court. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I learned a lot from it just to see. I saw his 54-point night in Madison Square early on. You know, we combined for 54 points that night. I didn't get a single bucket, and I thought I was gonna play that night too. But it's just cool to see to be that close to him early on. You know, to see the grind. Then I went back to play with him in 2020 year he won the scoring title. You know, because I was guarding him every day in practice, bro. Oh man, we loved it. I mean, just the underlying kind of rivalry we had against one another. I'd say another cool story. 2012, after my first year in the summer league, I come back to camp. I mean, I come back to Golden State, and I'm doing closeouts against him. I'm at the nail. He's on the wing. Coach drives middle. Then they pass it to Steph, and I gotta like close out. You know, and no help either. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do. You know, because he can shoot it from 3-4 feet off the line. Then he raises eyebrows. I'm flying all over the place as a young defender. But I think we both learned so much from the offensive and defensive side, you know, going through those times. And
wow,
you know, our journeys have you know, kind of pushed us different ways at the moment, but you know, it's always love for that guy. I mean, just how he's inspired, you know, me in so many different ways as a human, as a father, as a philanthropist as well.
oh, wow.
Yeah, just yeah, I love that kid, man. But you know, I'm gonna lock his ass up.
Hey, but before we go, man, who was your favorite posterizer? Who your favorite person your favorite dunk that you dunked on somebody, man? Can you tell us about that moment and who you dunked on?
Shoot, Tristan Thompson in the East Conference Finals.
Okay.
Yeah,
Big Tristan.
Tell us about that play, man.
Dennis drove baseline, and I went to the corner, and I caught it. Dellavedova caught. He kind of crowded me, so I ripped right across his face. Went baseline, one dribble, 2 steps, boom, right on top of him. Like, and that was like, bro, what? That was like one of my first plays in the game. And you know, I understand, like in the playoffs, that energy is like OD. Like you can't even contain it. You know, that's why you see these home teams. You know, they come out, they smack. That first punch they throw sometimes is crazy. And you know, we went that same series. We go to Cleveland. They make like 27 threes on us. Bro, that it was ranked, bro. I thought the building was about to fall. But yeah, definitely dunking on Tristan Thompson. I got Jared Sullinger too, one of my first games in the A. I got Ersan Ilyasova on a backdoor pass from Dwight Howard. Man, like yeah, dude. I mean, it's that's a part of my game, like that's still in there. But I mean the importance of having skill around the rim is more important to me now, because you can't be hitting the floor at 36, bro. You gotta stay off the floor, bro.
Yeah. What about, did you ever get posterized? You ever get embarrassed?
Yeah, Ray Allen got me.
20. Jesus Shuttleworth got you, man.
It's Miami Bron, Miami D Wade. It was that year. D Wade, Ray Allen, Joe Anthony, Chris Bosh, Norris Cole, Mario Chalmers. So it's a 2-on-1. And D Wade's coming up the left side. And then Ray Allen's on the right side. Bro, he shovels it back. And I go to turn, and Ray Allen he pounded with one hand, and he picked it up like this. And I went to jump. Boom, right on top of me, and one. And it was my second foul, so I had to come out the game. I hate that jump.
Jesus Shuttleworth, man.
As teammates, do y'all make fun of each other when stuff like that happens?
I mean, it's a part of the game. I mean, depending on how bad it is, like
yeah.
I mean, I remember when Harrison Barnes dunked on what was that, big Pekovic from Minnesota. I'm sure some of his teammates was like, oh. You know, if you see some dudes like DeAndre Jordan or Brandon Knight, like if you're a teammate, if you were his brother, if you Brandon Knight brother, you're gonna flinch. Like, dang, like
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's some incredible, bro. These dudes, I mean, they don't really posterize people like they used to. I feel like they used to go through folks. Now they kind of going around. You know, the closest thing I seen, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards are probably like some guys that like truly like dunk on you.
And everybody else just Luka last night, man.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
he got your boy, man. He got your boy, our boy, because he was a Hawk. He got John, man. He got John the Baptist.
Oh my gosh.
He got John the Baptist.
How did John get hurt on that dunk?
Yeah, John got a concussion. He got him, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, that dude, that man from the A too. So yeah, bro. It's proud of that kid too, because you know, understanding what he's had to overcome, and he's still in the light, being himself. Like it ain't easy. It is not easy, finding who you are and then staying true to who you are at the same token. It's a big responsibility for these young men, and I'm proud of them. It ain't. I did it for a decade, and I ain't have half the responsibility that most of these young kids have now. So I can only imagine how tough it gets.
Like I'm glad you took it there. As we get ready to close, I do want to ask you this, and B Rich may have another question after this, but I want that to go back to the very beginning of the interview. What is it that Bazemore is doing now in 2025? From a mental standpoint or just a peace standpoint that helps you get in line with who you are away from the game now, and what can some of the players who that time will come up for them eventually at one point in life, what can they do, or what would you like to see certain players do to make sure their mental and their peace and everything is where it needs to be once they have to step away from the game?
I think staying present, a lot of us, man, that's a loaded question. I think for me right now, just being patient, not having the mentality of, oh, I need to be doing this, or I need to be investing over here, I need to be a part of that. I need to, having yourself all over, spreading yourself too thin. I think focusing on grounding myself has been the biggest thing, going to make my own groceries, mopping the floor, cleaning my crib, folding my laundry, like just doing all the, speaking to people, giving her, just trying to really get back to the grounded version of me. Cause that, people put you on such this high pedestal, being an NBA athlete. And, I grew up in a small town anyway. So just getting back to my roots was very, very key, pouring back into my family. And then, like I said, just removing the distractions, and focusing on purpose, finding my purpose again. While these gentlemen are in it, I just think you got to have your boundaries. I don't think most guys and keep the game first, because the game is the ultimate teacher, and that's what's going to allow you to transition smoothly. Because where I played 10 years in the league, I have a plethora of knowledge for the game, and that's allowed me to pour back into the younger generation. Volunteering at the local high school, or helping my boy out with his AAU program. Like it's just keep the game first. Right now, I feel like they're getting a little distracted with all the the money they're making off the court, and they're not really taking care of themselves, to be able to have the performances that they need to have on a nightly basis. So yeah, it's just lightening the load, man, while you in it. Don't try to carry all of that, because it's all superficial. We're still human. You put your pants on just like the next man. So it's more so bringing yourself back. I mean, this is a long-winded answer, because I'm gonna think about this question when we get off. But yeah, bro, it's scary. It's scary to rip all that away. Rip that mask off. Like I ain't this jumbotron of a person. I'm a real human. Really, when you see how small you truly are, that's the fear. That fall. Everybody's got to go through it. We aren't going to be up here, forever. In terms of the mimetic and material world. We can ascend as godly beings, but we're gonna have to come down first. Get on your knees and pray. And that's the best way I could put it, brother.
I love that.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
I want to say this, man. Just listening to you, man, I consider you a friend of the show now, and I see why you've been successful. You're a big character guy, and I see, you really care about your teammates, you really care about yourself, and I see why you had the success and made the money you've made. Hey, but before we go, man, Jeff Green, he says, can we see the old Bazemore stare before you let him go?
Oh, the Baze gaze, man. Somebody asked me about that the other day, man. I gotta do it one time. There you go, brother.
There you go, brother.
There you go.
The Bays
There you
game,
go.
man.
Yes, sir, man.
Thank you so much, Bays.
Nah,
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
taking this
y'all.
time.
I needed this. Yes, sir.
No, it's all good, man. Hey, and you are welcome to join us at any time. You know, you are welcome to join us at any time.
And I want to say this, Bays, like anything you need from us to help you out, you know, with what you're trying to do in this, man, just reach out to us, man. You got my number. And like,
Right on.
I really respect talking to you today, and I really got a new appreciation for you now. You know what I'm saying? Not
Appreciate
saying
it. Yes, sir.
yeah.
It's all good. Yep. Right on. I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, well, ladies and gentlemen, you see it, 24, the creator of the Bays Gaze. Boy, I'm talking about dunked all over Tristan Thompson. That's right, Tristan. You and the Kardashians take that. You know what I'm saying? Take that. Hey, but hey, Bays, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
This is the Waterboyz Show. Like we say all the time, we represent Atlanta because Atlanta represents us. Stay loyal, stay Atlanta. On behalf of myself, Trey, my partner, B Rich, and Kent Bazemore.
Yes, sir.
He's in the program, number 24, the Waterboyz Show. We are out. We'll catch you.